Hello, everybody. My name is Coalspace, and welcome to the Coalspace XP podcast. Today, we are going to be doing a podcast episode, and yes, I know before I even start, where have you been with the podcast? Well, I've been busy, but I'm here, and we're going to be doing one episode a month, and it'll be on Spotify and the YouTube channel as well. So I hope you enjoy these podcast episodes when we do them. All right, and today we are talking about an interesting topic for however long that we do talk about it. We are going to talk about one question, and we're just kind of going to go with it. The question is for today's podcast episode, or today's podcast topic, is going to be, could you survive in a video game world of your choosing? What would the video game world be? And also, how would you survive? So I'm going to dive into that. I may talk about a handful of worlds that I would want to try to survive in, or I would think would be interesting to survive in. And we're just going to kind of do that. So I just thought this would be a fun topic for a podcast episode just to talk about. And I want to know what you guys think as well. So let me know in the comments what you think, what world you would want to survive in, and also kind of how you would survive, like, in that world. And I want to start off by saying it doesn't have to be a world that's like super, it can be any game. Like, this can be any video game out there. It can be a super safe video game where there's no real danger and it's just you know, whatever. It can be anything. It can be like Stardew Valley where there's actually no danger. It can be a really dangerous world, like in like Resident Evil, you know, like when we played Resident Evil 0. It can be that. It can be any video game. But which one would you pick? And then how would you survive? Or maybe even which ones you would not want to survive in because of how bad it would be to survive in. Or could you? I guess that's the question too, is could you survive? How would you and could you? That's a good way to put it. So first off, I would say that could I survive in the world that my favorite game has always been like I have a handful of games. It's hard to say honestly what my favorite game is, but one game that I would love to be in and try to survive, I guess, would be the game called Firewatch, because I just thought that game, I mean, it's pretty simple. It's not like fantasy or anything. It's just literally, you know, you're watching a forest. But could I survive in that world? Yes. I could definitely survive in that world. And would I want to? Yeah, I think I would and could. But I have an interesting idea for this podcast episode too. But I do have an interesting twist to this podcast episode. So I wanted to ask you guys what world you would like to stay in, right? Or could you? How would you survive? Or what would you want to be in? But for today's podcast episode, I also wanted to add something that would be pretty interesting. I have a wheel, and I'm going to spin it, and we're going to try to figure out if I could, or kind of discuss the possibility of how I would survive or live in these worlds that I have on the wheel here. And we're going to make it interesting by taking away the options of me choosing and just being placed in a world. So it's a little twist on the podcast episode. All right, so we have these options here. As you can see, we have our wheel. It's not spinning yet, but we have our wheel, and we have a selection of options here. And I am going to spin the wheel, and we're just going to see what we get, and we're going to talk about if we could survive or how hard it would be to survive and kind of what my strategic plan would be for survival in these worlds, kind of discussing it. So we'll spin the wheel and see what we land on. Oh Lord. Okay, well, oh my gosh. So our first one, we got Dead Space. Oh my god. Okay, let's start with Dead Space. Okay. So our first world is Dead Space. Pretty challenging world to survive in. I haven't played the Dead Spaces all the way through, but I do know the gist of that game and what it is. I've seen gameplay of it. But Dead Space, here's the thing. I mean, so I'm gonna kind of break it down. I guess the question would be if you're in that world. So I'm assuming that I'm on the ship. I'm not on Earth. Like, I don't get that luxury. I'm in the world of Dead Space, and the world of Dead Space is set on the spaceships. So I have to assume, I mean, could I survive? Yes. If I wasn't on the ships, probably. Though I don't know if it would be easy. I think I would most likely die if I'm being completely honest. Dead Space, I don't know all the creatures that you have to fight, but I know he's alone on a ship. As far as I know, I actually do want to play Dead Space some point on the channel. And like, I know there's three. I think there's 3 main Dead Spaces, but I want to play through them all. I know that game is really, really scary though, because of just the horror of the monsters in the ship. I think if I were to survive, well, first off, I wouldn't go on that ship that they go on. I wouldn't go on the ship to investigate. But if I was stuck on that ship, I would probably, find a weapon, draw as little amount of attention as possible. To rate my survivability on a scale of 1 to 10 for Dead Space, I would say I'm gonna do that for each one I do. 0 out of 10, 0 being you will survive, and 10 being you will die. Survivability. Oh no, scratch that. Reverse it. 0 you will die, and 10 you'll survive. Survivability rating. Okay, so I would say probably a 3. I don't think I would highly rate the survivability of Dead Space. Living in Dead Space sounds like a nightmare. That's why it's a horror game, but oof, I mean, I don't even know what you would do, because they're everywhere, aren't they? They're everywhere in this spaceship. They're everywhere. It's an infection. Is it infectious? Like, can I get infected through the air or cuts? Because it's some kind of disease, I think, right? So you got to worry about that. You got to worry about the possibility of them infecting you, because I think everybody on the ship got infected slowly with these alien parasite. I don't even know what actually happened in Dead Space, so I'll have to play that to learn. But they're freakish. If you don't have a weapon, you're kind of screwed, because physically, matching up to the aliens in Dead Space, the enemies, you're not really physically capable to take them out. I know Isaac has like the stomp, but it'd be hard. It would be very, very hard, and I would say 3 is being generous. I should probably put it as 1 or 2, because coming out of Dead Space alive would be lucky, very lucky, because everybody on the ship's dead, right? Except for you when you go on. I don't see myself making it, and if I do, I will be so grateful. But it's a miracle, right? Like Dead Space, I'm not surviving. I would want to just hide and not leave. Don't go out and adventure like in the spaceship. Just, and you got to think about it too. You're in space, so you're stuck. You're stuck because you can't leave the spaceship. So if the spaceship breaks or something, you also have to worry about the environment killing you, not only the monsters within. You're in the worst possible situation. Your outside is dead, and then the inside everything's trying to kill you. So it's like a double whammy. And that's where it gets really scary, because you have no way out, because you can't escape the threat. You have to live with the threat and figure out how to get rid of the threat, because there is no avoiding the threat. So yeah, that's what makes Dead Space probably a really low survivability. I mean, even the most capable would be, I think, would be really hard to survive in Dead Space. I mean, it's called Dead Space for a reason, right? So yeah, no, I might even change it from a 3 to a 2, because I think there is a chance. I think there's a slight chance that you survive, but it's very, very, very hard, probably. But on to the next one. Oh, and I would like to add something too that I just thought about with Dead Space before I spin this wheel. How are you eating? Like, I didn't even think about that. You know, you have to eat and drink water. You have to eat food and drink water to survive. Is the food contaminated? How much of a stock do you have? It depends on what kind of skills I guess I have too. Like, do I have the skills to reach out and communicate to people, or am I just screwed like on that aspect? Can I not operate a radio? I'm assuming that I'm just one of the employees on the spaceship, or maybe just someone on there. So I don't know what skill set I would have, but I know I wouldn't have if it was just me, if we're just talking about me, I don't have that skill set. So that would be a challenge in of itself to reach out. But yeah, food. You got to think about food too. I mean, the monsters are also, but you have to eat and drink water. Is there a supply of that on the spaceship? I'm putting the survivability rating at 1 because of that thought. Now, let's move on to the next one. What are we going to get? What if we get Dead Space again? Oh, get out of here. Oh, okay. I prefer that. All right. Well, we got Minecraft. What do you know? Well, we got Minecraft. It's something we've already survived in. We beat the Ender Dragon recently on the channel. So Minecraft. Minecraft would not be much different than real life, I would say. It's still its own world. Minecraft has its own things, so I put it on the list because it's still different than a regular life. And it's a video game, popular video game too, so I had to put it on here. Surviving in Minecraft is very possible. I would say survivability rating in Minecraft is a 10 out of 10, as long as you know what you're doing. You have monsters to deal with, like zombies, creepers, there are beasts out there that you can fight that are harder, like ender dragons and withers. Those things do pose a major threat to you. I think I could survive in Minecraft, though, without a doubt, because of the sole fact that Minecraft is a open world sandbox kind of game. So you can do whatever you want. I don't have to go out and fight monsters. If I know where I am and I build myself a nice little house somewhere, I can survive forever. I don't have to go out. I know that there's food in the game, so I won't starve. I will have water. I'll be able to fight things off because they give weapons, unlike Dead Space with the first part where weapons are kind of, you have to find them, probably scrounge around and scavenge. With Minecraft you scavenge, but there's, like, you have the ability to build, you have the ability to craft, you can make your stuff stronger. You kind of know there would be challenges, but I think that Minecraft survivability is high because of just, it's a survival game. So it's kind of geared toward that. It would be challenging at times for sure. But I think once you got it under control and you got yourself established, you would be fine. So Minecraft, this one's kind of shorter because honestly, I mean, what are you going to do in Minecraft? I could literally just make a house, a bed. If I know I can protect myself and make food, I could just survive forever. So could I survive? Absolutely, without a doubt. Now, would there be chances where I do die? Yes. Yes, there would be. So survivability though, absolutely 100% if I was placed in Minecraft, the game. So moving on to the next one. All right, next, let's spin the wheel. Minecraft, easy. Survive. I mean, there would be challenges, of course, but oh my god. Okay, well, we actually played this recently on the CoolSpace YouTube channel. Little Nightmares. So, Little Nightmares would be horrible, probably. In that world, if I'm assuming that I'm a little person, like I think their name is 11. I'm pretty sure their name is 11. I think I read that somewhere. But the main character, the yellow trench coat. If I were a little person, just like 11, I think it would be hard to survive, especially because I'm small. I'm a small little thing running around, and there's these big people trying to eat me, trying to kill me. The world would be way dangerous, probably, just because of the size. I'm not a threat. There's things around me. And I picked harder worlds to survive in, more horror-based worlds sometimes, and just some more challenging worlds because I wanted to challenge myself with how I'd survive. So I think in Little Nightmares, we would have to team up. All the little people. We would have to make some kind of group or guild, and we'd have to communicate and keep each other safe. That's what I would do immediately in Little Nightmares. I would try to grow the small group of people as much as we could. Not like 11. I don't know why 11 eats them either, the little triangle people. I would befriend the little triangle people for sure. I wouldn't eat them like 11 did, which I still don't understand why she did that. Surviving would be, it would just suck, honestly. I mean, you've seen it in the game when we played it. It was like horrible trying to survive in that world. Every time we went to a new area, somebody was trying to eat us, kill us, squish us, I don't know, anything and everything. So surviving in Little Nightmares, I would say it's doable. You'd have to find a safe spot where nothing was. Maybe I suggest, I don't know how like the whole world of Little Nightmares is from what they showed us though in the first game. I think that it's survivable. You just need to find a safe area and kind of like live there. Food would be difficult probably to get sometimes, but it would be possible. It would be possible. Yeah, I would say that. I would say Little Nightmares ranking on survivability. Like, it's not easy. It's definitely not going to be an easy world to survive in. I would put it at a 5. 5 is like 50-50 because I'm small, I'm little. I have a lot of threats that I'm gonna be faced with in the world of Little Nightmares. Yeah. Very dangerous. Very, very dangerous and spooky. And there seems to be some sort of supernatural power going on in Little Nightmares towards the game's conclusion. So, yeah, definitely 5 out of 10 for survivability, I would say for sure. On to the next one. All right, what do we get next? Oh boy. Oh, well, we can't survive in Little Nightmares twice, okay? We got Little Nightmares again, and we can't do that. They want us to survive there twice. Oh, I don't even know why I put human fall. Silent Hill! Oh. Oh, Lord. Ooh. Yeah. Silent Hill. Oh my gosh. Well, you know, I want to say for each game that I, get selected for, I want to say just avoid the area that the game's set in, but that would be stupid because you could say that for everything unless it's like the game, the whole world. So I'll play along with it and just assume that I'm in the setting of the game and not just say that I could just avoid wherever Silent Hill is at because it's a town, right? And it's a town just in the middle. It's just one town. So I will say I'm in Silent Hill. Actually, a little short story about me. I had nightmares as a kid from the Pyramid Head character in Silent Hill because I seen him on the TV. I had nightmares, like literal nightmares about Pyramid Head. So he's really freaky. And he's scary even in the movie they made for the Silent Hill franchise. But surviving in Silent Hill would not be easy. I think you could definitely find food and survive. Going through it feels like it's like a illusion in that world, like the things are not always as they seem. That would mess with your mind a lot, so that would be hard to stay mentally strong during that whole, you trying to make it through whatever you have to go through. I don't really know all the enemies that you gotta deal with in Silent Hill, that's a game I still need to play. Like I want to do a let's play on that, all those games. But I know Pyramid Head, and I know like the early enemies with like I don't even know what they're called. But they're just like creepy things walking around. Survivability, goodness gracious. I think you can survive Silent Hill. I really do. I think it's gonna be terrifying when you get through. I think you're gonna be stressing the whole time. That's gonna weigh on you a lot. And yeah, it's just not gonna be a good time. But none of these worlds are really gonna be a good time. So that's the fun of it. That's the challenge of this. Silent Hill, though, rating it on a survivability scale, I feel like it's not as bad as Little Nightmares. For some reason, I just feel like I could survive in Silent Hill. It would be scary and disorienting, but I think it's survivable. I'm going to put it at 6, not a 5. I think Little Nightmares would be harder to survive in. And I think you could survive in both, but there is going to be challenges. Yeah. Silent Hill is definitely a 6 out of 10 on the survivability scale. I would say it's manageable, but if you're not on your feet and ready for what's coming, yeah, there's a chance that you're not gonna make it out of that video game world. So, yeah, I wouldn't want to be my first pick. Definitely from what we've picked. We've picked what? Dead Space, Minecraft, Silent Hill, and Little Nightmares. So, I mean, yeah, Minecraft's the most ideal one out of all these, but man, yeah, Silent Hill. Dead Space is by far the worst one. Now that I've seen 4 of these, thinking about it, the worst one. But Silent Hill, 6 out of 10 for survivability. All right, let's spin the wheel. Spin the wheel. We'll do one more here for the podcast episode. This has been a great podcast episode. Oh no. Oh, it sucks. Oh. Okay. Elden Ring. All right. So for the last one that we're going to talk about in this podcast episode was Elden Ring. Wouldn't be my first choice. So you know why I rated Silent Hill a little higher? Because it's more based on riddles and puzzles. You can figure those out, right? The enemies are not inherently hard to fight. Little Nightmares, 5 out of 10, because yeah, they're big and it's hard to survive, but you avoid them. You don't fight them. Yeah, Silent Hill, you fight, but you don't fight. They're not hard. The riddles are hard, and that's you thinking about things. So, Elden Ring, and the reason why I say this is because Elden Ring is very, very hard. Fighting in that game is hard. The types of opponents you would have to face in that world, let's say you're trying to survive the world of Elden Ring. There's so many areas that are, I mean, you have the grace resting spots. You just sit there forever. And then you'll be safe, but you want to become an Elden Lord, then you have to go through it and fight. Surviving in Elden Ring would be hard, without a doubt. I don't know if you can die, because Elden Ring's like kind of game where come back every time you die. Could you survive though? No, I don't think you could. I think if any of us were placed in the world of Elden Ring, we would die. It would be 0.01% that survive Elden Ring, just because of the dangers around every area. You could be like a nomad and try to just not fight anybody and slide around anybody, but you won't get any stronger. But even fighting the most basic enemies would be horrible in Elden Ring. Just be horrible. I don't know. I'm just thinking about all the bosses you die from. And yeah, it's right up there with Dead Space. Like, it's just not it's a very unforgiving world, and it's gonna chew you up and spit you out, basically. Elden Ring is horrible, just like Dead Space is, to survive in. And could you? I highly doubt it. I think you could survive in certain parts of Elden Ring better than Dead Space, so it's got that going for it. There's certain safe spots, you could call them, as if like Dead Space is like there is no safe. It's just you're in the bad. All the spots are bad. But they could roam. They could roam in Elden Ring, so they could walk upon you, and then you are in a fight, and you're dead. Elden Ring, I put Dead Space at 1. Now you could definitely survive off of like food. There's food in Elden Ring, and you could find and scrounge. You would be low on the totem pole definitely surviving an Elden Ring. You'd kind of have to work around a lot of things too. So you would not be, able to even get a foothold unless you really were able to defeat some things and level up, gain power, maybe that way. But even then, it's still going to be hard to fight and survive these areas. So many surprises too. I put it at 2. Elden Ring is a 2 out of 10 for survivability. And these are just a couple of the video game worlds out there. There are so many video game worlds out there. I just picked out 5 from a random wheel generator that I typed up. I typed up those game names and then we did the random wheel generator with it. So with that being said, what are some video game worlds you think you could survive in or you would want to survive in? I kind of had a little small talk at the beginning about me wanting to just survive in Firewatch because I love the world and I love the feeling I got when I played that game. It was just such a good game. It's always been one of my favorites. But let me know what you guys think, what you want to, which video game world do you think you could survive in? Which video game world do you think would be very hard or near impossible to survive in? Any kind of thoughts like that about this topic, let me know in the comments, either on Spotify or YouTube. Either way, I would love to hear them. And I'd love to see what you guys think. I want to see what kind of worlds you also bring up as well. I know that this is just a tiny, tiny fraction of the worlds that people have made in video games. So there's just so many out there. So I would love to hear all of your thoughts and it maybe like your strategies on how you would survive any of these video game worlds in this video or from your own head. So with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. I'm going to finish up this podcast episode right now. We are back. Expect a podcast episode every month. We have one for December. It'll be coming out as this December right now. Don't know why I said it like that, but it will be every month, once a month, and I will keep you all updated on any changes or updates in the future with the podcast. So thank you all so much for being patient with me, and thank you all so much for your support. And I can't wait to see how far this podcast goes and what other things that we talk about on the Cold Space XP podcast. Bye for now, everybody.